Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the A24 Archive. This is the segment on my channel where I go back through A24's entire catalog from the first film that they've released all the way till whenever I get caught up. And today's episode I'm very excited about because this is a movie I've already seen multiple times, a movie I really love, but one that I have not revisited since the release of these two directors' newest film, Everything Everywhere All at Once. And I've been really excited to revisit this since the release of that movie because I loved it so much. And the movie I'm going to be discussing today is Swiss Army Man. Swiss Army Man is directed by the Daniels. Alone on a tiny deserted island, Hank has given up all hope of ever making it home again. But one day, everything changes when a dead body washes ashore, and he soon realizes it may be his last opportunity to escape certain death. So I absolutely love the Daniels. The first exposure I actually had to the Daniels was when they did the music video for Manchester Orchestra's Simple Math, and I became obsessed with their visual style. And as soon as I heard about Swiss Army Man being made and being produced, I was so excited to watch it, especially because they had paired up with Andy Hall and Robert McDowell from Manchester Orchestra, who are one of my favorite bands that exist, and that they were going to do the score to this film, and I could not wait to see it. And as soon as I watched this one, I became obsessed with it. The filmmaking, the style, the unique weirdness of it all, and the way that they were able to combine these absurdist concepts with these really beautiful ideas about humanity that blend so well together. And obviously with the success of Everything Everywhere All at Once last year, it's just proof that these guys are doing something unlike any other filmmaker that's working today. And so I hadn't revisited this in a couple of years, and I really wanted to after Everything Everywhere All at Once. And needless to say, I still love this just as much as the first time that I watched it. So obviously you have the character of Hank, played by Paul Dano. At the beginning of the film, we see him trying to hang himself, essentially. He's trapped on this deserted island. He's miserable, and then he sees this body float up on shore, which is, we come to find out later, is Manny, played by Daniel Radcliffe. And it's a dead body, and he ends up taking the belt off of him, trying to hang himself again. But then he hears him fart and realizes that he can use him as essentially a human jet ski. And so he gets back to shore where he can see trees, so he thinks that he's close to civilization. And through this strange set of circumstances, Manny begins to talk again. And the two of them form this really unlikely bond where Hank is trying to teach Manny about what it is to be a person, what life was like outside of being isolated in this place. And Hank uses Manny as essentially a human Swiss Army knife so that they can try to find their way back to civilization. So this premise is absolutely absurd. Some of the things that happen in this film are just so ridiculous and over the top in the funniest way possible. And I think these guys obviously love their extremist humor. But the thing that's so impressive about the Daniels to me is the fact that they use this extreme humor similarly to the way horror directors will use extreme violence or set of circumstance to convey really powerful messages. And I think like the Daniels do this really great job of showing how absurd the society we live in and how absurd day-to-day life is, and using these concepts that are so ridiculous that you laugh at in order to convey a really beautiful and poignant message. And obviously we learn throughout this film that Paul Dano's character is a very isolated person before he was stranded on this island, and that he could never really find himself in the way that he wanted to. He was bullied when he was younger. He didn't have the greatest relationship with his parents, and you're revealed all this information through the conversations that he has with Manny. And we learn about this woman that's on his phone, and like the, yearning for some kind of normalcy in his life. And it's really heartbreaking to watch because I feel like every single person in their life has gone through a set of circumstances where they just feel like they don't belong, or that their life isn't important, or that they don't matter. And this movie really embraces the idea of that your weirdness and the things that make you the person that you are so important, and that you should embrace that element of yourself and never let go of that. And I think the Daniels did that as well in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Obviously that's much more about familial dynamics, generational trauma, all of these different themes that exist there. But I also think that there is a beauty in being who you are as a person. Even Michelle Yeoh's character in that film having to come to terms with, like, yeah, her life might not be that exciting, but it is so important important in the grand scheme of things. And that's what I think the Daniels do such a great job covering in this film as well, as just really simplifying things and saying like, hey, this is a movie about loving yourself and understanding that while your life might not be this grandiose, insane, exciting spectacle, that you should appreciate it for what it is and try to make the best of what it is, because your life does matter. And that's my favorite thing about Swiss Army Man. Obviously the visuals in this film are insane. I love a lot of the effects that they do in this movie. They're very simple. I know the budget was probably a lot less than what they had to work on with Everything Everywhere All at Once, but the visuals look great in this, as absurd as some of the sequences are in this. Obviously there's a lot of fart humor and ridiculous jokes that are really over the top, but I appreciate that a lot, because having those moments that just make you laugh out loud really contrast those deep emotional moments. And I notice a lot of people that complain about the Daniels talk about the shift in tonality, but it takes a really special type of director to be able to kind of flawlessly shift between extreme overt comedy and really beautiful drama. And the Daniels do it in a way where they take both seriously, and that one never seems to fall short of the other one. And that's something that I really appreciate about them as filmmakers. And Swiss Army Man is such an impressive directorial debut. I cannot say how much I love this movie over and over and over again. It's truly one of my favorites in A24's catalog. I'm sure looking at my list when I reevaluate, this will definitely end up in the top 10. It is just so fantastically well made. It's right up my alley as far as like utilizing these weird, surreal, strange concepts to convey something really beautiful under the surface. And those are the types of films that I gravitate towards the most. So have you seen Swiss Army Man? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was absolutely fantastic. I've revisited it multiple times since the first time I've seen it, and every time I grow to love it more. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.